Welcome back to Billionaire Study Notes. My name's Glenn Gillen. Today we're going to talk about Warren Buffett, the majority shareholder, CEO and chairman of Berkshire Hathaway. Now, what we're going to look at is what made him so successful. How has he been able to achieve such extreme success where others have either failed or failed to achieve anywhere near the level of success as Warren Buffett has, or few have. Some have, not many though. We're not going to look so much at his investments or his strategies for investment and how he picks stocks, but more so, how does he think? What's his mindset like? What does he value? What are his strongest beliefs and values that distinguish him that perhaps other men and women can copy and mimic and model and get close to achieving similar results? Now, the first one I'd like to talk about is him being an independent thinker. Now, Warren Buffett's such an independent thinker. He's often referred to as a contrarian, where he goes against the trends of what the masses are doing, and that's how he's been able to succeed and so do it so profitably. For an example of this is that he's tended to have better performance in a bear market than a bull market. Now, this is proven by looking at his annual reports and his annual letters to shareholders, where he publishes his results versus those of the broader S&P 500 index. And you can clearly see in the years that there were bear markets where the index has gone down as a whole, he's tended to perform better. Now, this was also highlighted, probably the most clear example is during the dot-com bubble, where so many investors were throwing money at tech stocks, at internet startups and so forth, and throwing huge money into them, and they kept doubling and doubling. It seemed like every other month they seemed to double in capitalization. Though Warren Buffett steered well clear. He said, I want nothing to do with it. I don't understand them. Everyone was like, the internet's the next big thing. It's going to be awesome. It's going to take over the world. It's going to change the world forever, which it has. Though he was stuck to his guns and said, I don't understand how these companies are going to make money, how they make money now, or their future potential to make money. Now, his main quote associated with this being an independent thinker is, be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful, which sums up his whole philosophy in general. Further to this, he's got genuine common sense. Just his whole philosophy is based on common sense. For example, when he values a company, he looks more at the brand name and the management's potential to achieve the desired outcomes and to grow the company over the long term than financial jargon. Further to this, a further example is here with his philanthropic efforts, that he weighed up two options. He could either set up his own charity to distribute his tens of billions of dollars, or he could look at someone else and pass his money on to them to distribute his wealth. Now, he ended up passing it on to Bill Gates purely for the reasons that Bill Gates already had a charity established to deal with giving away tens of billions of dollars, and there weren't many other charities out there, if any, that were dealing with these such large sums of money. He found it common sense, put it there, it'll get the most bang for your buck, so to speak. Now, let's look at the next one, say positive beliefs. He's got such a positive attitude. He considers himself to have won the ovarian lottery. What does he mean by this? That he was born in the right place at the right time. Basically, that he was born in America, male, white, with a pretty good IQ, into a society that values capital allocation and values it by paying it in the tens of billions of dollars if done successfully. Further to this, he says he tap dances to work every day, that he's living his dream life. Now, that just blows me away. Like, if you look at him, he's lived in the same house he's always lived in. He drives a not very flash car, particularly for one of the richest people in the world. He seems to have minimal luxuries, though he says that he's living his dream life. He couldn't dream of living any other life. Now, I think that just shows true positive beliefs, and just he's got his values clearly sorted out. Now, the next point is focus. He's got an absolutely crystal clear focus on where he wants to go, where he's going, and his whole life direction, which he's held in clearly in his mind throughout his whole life. Examples, the main example for this was when Bill Gates and Warren Buffett were hanging out at Bill Gates' parents' house, actually, and Bill Gates' father asked the two of them, at that stage they were the two richest people in the world, what is it that set you two apart? What is it, if you could put it down to one thing that has allowed you two to be so successful, what would that be? And they both agreed on focus being the main thing. Focus on where you're going, what you're doing, what you're achieving. Continual focus and not letting outside distractions get in and influence you and take you off your path and where you want to go. Now they've been, if you look at the two of them, they're so clear in their focus. For example, Warren Buffett, his children while they were growing up would try and get his attention while he was reading. He was reading, he's put down as, he does it, he reads 5 newspapers a day, he reads constantly, he's always expanding his mind, expanding his consciousness, learning, which has allowed him to, being one of the factors why he's been so successful. And when his kids were growing up, that they'd try and get his attention, but he was so focused on what he was reading that they couldn't get his attention, that he'd sort of mumble and grumble and sort of try and answer their questions, but they'd struggle to get his attention. Also on the topic of focus, that he lives in Omaha, he doesn't work or live around Wall Street, where the big financial houses are, where you, if you're in finance, you tend to go to Wall Street to make it big, to work big. Though he lives in Omaha, so that he isn't distracted, so that he can stay true to his focus and what he knows is right, and so that he can think independently and not be influenced by outside variables and what the masses are doing. The last point would be Dale Carnegie. He attended a Dale Carnegie course when he was much younger, and you can, by reading about Warren Buffett and studying him a bit, even reading his annual reports and his letters to his shareholders, you can clearly see the principles that he's still adopting to this day of Dale Carnegie. For example, to instill confidence in the people around you, in the people you control. Being a manager that instills confidence, whereas people will then believe in you and trust in you, and they won't want to let you down. Further to that, if you create a reputation for someone, a higher reputation than they perhaps have, they will strive to live up to it, which is what he's also done. And you can see in his letters to shareholders that he constantly praises his managers, says that they've done the best job, that Berkshire wouldn't be nowhere near the company it is without them, that thanks to them they've covered up his mistakes, or Berkshire's been so lucky to have them because they've made the company tens of billions of dollars in revenue that year. Now, to be praised by one of the richest people in the world in an annual report that millions of people these days read, that's going to be surely a compliment. You're going to want to live up to that. You're going to want to work that bit harder. You're going to want to push yourself that bit more. You're going to want to achieve those better results so that you live up to that reputation. One of the main quotes from Dale Carnegie, which I think Warren Buffett uses, is "Be hearty in your approbation and lavish in your praise," where he praises constantly his management. He puts them up on high pedestals and they strive to keep that label, to keep impressing him, to keep pushing on. And that's how he's able to manage multiple companies from the one office and be a one man that does the job of 50 men in any other company. He also rewards his staff by freedom and good working conditions, and this lifestyle and this belief, the same principles that we've just spoken of, he rewards them, and then it inspires people to push on and live better instead of paying them with cash and options. I thank you for your time and listening. My name's Glenn Gillen. This is Billionaire Study Notes.